Welcome to SchezzWho, Hampton Road's top spot for politics. I am Conrad SchezzWho, hailing from Portsmouth, Virginia. I'm an interesting mix of the Green Party's progressivism and libertarianism, and today I'd like to point out SchezzWho has cracked 100 subscribers, so good stuff on that. Remember, viewers, I want you to like this video. I want you to comment on this video. I want you to subscribe to this channel like 100 others have already done and share content therein, especially today with Portsmouth viewers, because newly elected Councilman Bill Dodson is the guest. He's on to take a victory lap, if you will. But before that, I'm going to do a special thanks to viewers like yourself, as well as my wife, Andrea Dixon, who founded this channel. She's lovely, talented, great in so many ways, and of course, thankful for her for starting this whole process. I also want to shout out my good friend, Miss Ellen over at Ellen's Homestyle and Barbecue Express, a Portsmouth-based business with another location in Virginia Beach across from Regent University. Great food over at Ellen's Homestyle and Barbecue Express. Also want to shout out my good friend, Mr. Seiko Varner at Positive Vibes Incorporated. Does a lot of stuff to help you with your financial needs. He's also a recent recipient of Black Brand's Entrepreneur of the Year in Hampton Roads. Good stuff, and I think that's partially related to his creation of the new app, the Hampton Roads Green Book, which helps you find great Black and Brown-owned businesses in Hampton Roads. So definitely look at Positive Vibes, the Hampton Roads Green Book, all brought to you by Mr. Seiko Varner. Also want to shout out Mr. Farley Perkins, an insurance broker at the Farley Perkins Agency. Got his number right here on the screen for you. His email right here on the screen for you. You can use his services to help you with insurance needs. If you feel like a sweet treat right now in Portsmouth, head on over to ELG Sweet Boutique, 340 High Street in Portsmouth for great confectionery type delights. So right now what I would like to do is bring on this special guest all the way from a baseball game. That'd be Mr. Bill Dodson, newly elected city councilman for Portsmouth, Virginia. First off, how are you doing on this Sunday afternoon, good sir?
Absolutely wonderful. The best feeling is being vertical.
Yes, sir. I noticed you're out at a baseball game. What's the score?
10-1. We're not winning. It's my grandson's baseball game.
Is he doing well at least?
He's excellent. The other team just is better today. That's what you got. That's how you learn to win, is to play people better than you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. As a chess guy, I like to always play better opponents so I can get better at chess. So you're right about that. That in order to get better. So
let me interject one thing here. I can't say that this is a victory lap because the count is not in yet. We're only 166 votes ahead, and the provisional votes have not yet been counted. So it's not a win yet. Give us till Wednesday.
I appreciate that for pointing that out, because if I recall, you have to finish in the top 3 to win a possession on Portsmouth City Council's and the at-large based voting system. And I think current Councilman Barnes is a very close fourth to you right now.
A very close fourth. 166 votes.
You're right. It could sway either way, but we're done with the election cycle. So now we're just trying to see if all the votes counted will go in your way. And while I have this opportunity, it's good because we can discuss a little bit of political-based stuff for Portsmouth. So I thank you for wanting to come on. And let's see. I think we would like to get the ball rolling on some basic philosophies and functions and stuff. What do you foresee in the next month to 2 months before the possibility of being sworn in that you would like to start moving?
Oh, we're already moving. One of the existing city council members got so excited, he went to the city lawyer, had lunch, and said, these are the things I think we'd like to explore. What are the legal bases for it? And so the ball's already rolling, and I've got calls from every candidate and every existing member, except for a couple of them, to say congratulations. And it looks like we're really going to have a council that's really going to move the city forward in a different way than what it's been before. It's amazing how well the people that got elected and the people that are staying on council, how well we communicate and get along. It's really quite refreshing.
Good. You've mentioned that you would like to get the ball rolling in another way for Portsmouth. Do you have any ideas on maybe performance standards and new visions, goals for Portsmouth that you would like to?
That's exactly where we're headed. A couple of months ago, before I even thought about running, I went in and talked to the city manager, Mr. Carter, and I come from a different background. One of business, we built a couple of businesses up, and some of the things that you do when you start a business is you set a vision. Then you set some goals and some performance standards by which you run the business. You can't run a business unless you know where you're going to go. And we haven't had anybody really steering the ship in this city for decades. The last vision they came up with was 10, 15 years ago, I want to say. And when I went and got a copy of that, just so we'd have a starting place to say, hey, listen, what is the city of Portsmouth about? Who are we? What are we trying to do? And so we're going to take that into the retreat. They're trying to finally have a retreat for the council where we can get together and say, what direction are we going? So we've got the vision from the couple of years ago. I wrote up a new vision that I'd love to see us start with, but it has to be a collective vision that we all agree on. But I don't want to walk into the meeting and go, I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? And so I want to give them a starting place to say, hey, listen, here's the ideas that I have. What are your ideas? Let's add, craft, move, add, delete, and make sure we have a clear vision. We also have to have some measurement and performance standards. And the departments in Portsmouth, we've promoted people who said, we've always done it this way for the last 50 years. This is the way we're going to do it. And I've lived all over the country and seen better management than we have here. So if we can set performance standards, in other words, say, how fast can you get your job done? How many customers are you serving? And measure those numbers and say, are we good? Are we bad? Do we need to improve? Where do we need to improve? One of the big things that's coming along is the See, Click, Fix app. And they're using that as an interim standard right now to say, are we solving these problems that the citizens are bringing to us? And how quickly are we solving them? And measuring that by department right now. It was really an interesting interview to see that the new city manager is on the same wavelength as me and a couple of the other members in saying, how well is your department performing? And give us a number. And let's see if we can improve it.
All right, I like what I'm hearing so far. I like the idea that you're already willing to speak and engage and work as a team, collaborative effort with other council members, especially new ones that could be on council themselves, but you haven't said that you aren't coming with your own ideas. I want to hear some of your ideas if you could. You mentioned some goals. What's the first goal that you would like to start doing for Portsmouth policy-wise?
Well, we need to make sure the city's functioning first. The city's job is to provide services for its citizens. It's not to get involved in national politics or decide, are you a Democrat, are you a Republican? What is your philosophy? Our basic function is, are you getting the garbage picked up? Are we supplying the water, the sewer, the safety? And the safety is the number one big issue that's holding us back in all kinds of realms right now. We can't get businesses in for the economy. Every department wants money, and every department that we have deserves the money. The problem with it is the city isn't working and therefore can't provide the money for those services. So all the departments are mad. All the services are mad. They're not getting any money, but we have to get the city working first. So yes, there's some policies we need to tackle, but if the city isn't working, we can't tackle the policies. So the basic function of the city needs to be working first. And to do that, that's where we need the management to come in to say, are you doing your job? But after we get that done, and I think that's what you're asking, but that we've got to get that basic function working first. And people don't realize how bad the city works right now. But after that, the number one thing we need to tackle is crime, personal safety. If people don't feel safe, the next level of functions can't happen in the city. We can't bring businesses in. And the only way we can get taxes down is to bring more businesses in, because the businesses supply the taxes money that gets our residential taxes down. And we can't get the businesses till we get crime down. And we can't get the money for the education that we need. We can't get the money for the social service programs that we need until we get the city working. You're on.
Yeah, I want to expand a little bit on, I think you consider it results-oriented crime reduction. How do you visualize that? What statistics would you like to follow that shows that we have year after year results-oriented brought crime down? What would you like to track?
Well, the great thing about it is the chief's on the same philosophy, and he already tracks numbers of what the crime numbers and what they are. What we need to do is now integrate those numbers into the programs, that the social programs that we have, and say, do these social programs work? If we need to demand that they give us some numbers as to what their goals are. And up till now, that hasn't happened. The first program that they've had is this new program the chief just got, a little $2 million grant that he got, where he's finally saying, you need to show me you're performing, because we're giving out money left and right, but nobody knows if it's doing any good. So if we give out, $10 million to social programs and nobody has followed up to check and see if they're doing anything, the numbers with them, well, how do we know what worked and what didn't? We need to have that basic philosophy of measurement in the city that the city hasn't had ever since I can remember. So if you're going to do a social program, if you're going to have something in there, we need to know what your numbers are. Can you report them to us as a council, not just be screened through the city manager? I want to see the measurement standards for all the departments. I want to see a social program. If you come in, I want to see how you think you're going to change. And I want to see some results at the end of that program too. And there's never been any monitoring in this city. It's just gimme. And it needs to stop so we can evaluate which programs are working and do more of what works and less of what doesn't.
All right. I will remind the viewers of, I personally live in the West Haven neighborhood of Portsmouth. So this is all very important to me as I look forward to how the next council is going to be and whether or not it helps speaks to my issues. I also want to put on the screen here the website for Mr. Bill Dodson here, which is dodsonforportsmouth.com, where I got some of my topic-based questions today. I went for the About section, which seems pretty good to me. I want to take the moment here to give you the chance to talk about education for empowerment. That was after the results-oriented crime section. Can you speak on education for empowerment for the viewers?
The problem we have right now with the city is we're not seeing a lot of success out of the school system. We're seeing more of the school to jail railroad than we are school to trades or colleges. So some of the amazing thing is the ideas that our education leaders have are absolutely marvelous. Again, the question of are we measuring some of those things needs to come across, and we haven't seen a lot of measurement or transparency from the school board. There's been such an adversarial relationship with the school board for decades that the school board right now is seeking to be independent from the city council. I don't know whether that's a good or a bad idea. I've seen cities where that works. I've seen cities where it doesn't work. But the transparency needs any way they do it, their transparency. They haven't published a budget in 3 years, which is a state code requirement before they get funding. And sadly, they've been successful in blaming that on the city council for not funding them. But it's not really the city council. The city council should not have funded the last couple of years anyway until they had the budget. It's just a state requirement. And if you don't have a budget out, how's the average citizen going to examine it and see what programs you're doing? So it's become a very covert operation in the school board. But when you dive inside it, you see all these marvelous programs that the public just doesn't even know about. So we need to get the word out about the good work that they're doing, but we also need to get the transparency out so that people can examine it. And again, get back to, are the numbers working? Is this program working? Is that program working? The new one that they're working on for the trades, cannot remember the name of the program, though. The new building they just bought really seems like a marvelous idea. The question is it going to work? And if it doesn't work, we're going to keep doing it. Right now, we have jobs galore available. Even over at the shipyard, there's an apprenticeship program that they can't fill apprenticeship seats. Why are students filling those seats? Why do we still have a 20% poverty rate in the city when the national average is 10? I think we've developed a philosophy where we'll hand out, live on the street for all I want, and we have a work ethic developed. And we need to figure out how to change that culture to say, hey, listen, I'm going to contribute to society and my own personal success. Mr. Whitaker was trying to address an issue about the racial disparity in the city by saying that only 2% of black contractors are getting contracts in the city. And I'm like, I'm not so worried about how many black contractors are getting contracts in the city. What I am worried about And are our black contractors going out to the other cities and getting contracts there and bringing the money back to Portsmouth? Let's see some of our let's help our contractors that live in the city, black and white, to understand the process of how to get government contracts, how to be successful, and how to successfully complete the contracts. And anyway, you're
Mr.
I'm seeing a bit.
I admit your feed is starting to come in a little patchy, but I like to push through here for a second. I was liking what I was hearing so far. I'll take a minute to point out I'm from Virginia Beach, former city councilwoman, or actually current city councilwoman. Can you see me at least?
We lost me too.
Mm-hmm. I think he's tapped out of the feed at the moment. I hope he does pop back on because he hasn't just yet. What I was about to say is that current city councilwoman in Virginia Beach who recently lost a mayor race in Virginia Beach, Sabrina Wooten, led with the Ignite series, which helps a lot of businesses in Hampton Roads, including the ability to find contracts, which would have helped out with what he was saying, perhaps tie in the idea of securing a contract out of city and then bringing some of that income into Portsmouth, which would help overall grow Portsmouth's economy. I'm waiting for this to turn a little bit over. Hopefully he can hear me in a second.
Are you back?
I'm here. I will admit it's hard. I can see you now better. You slowly faded away over the course of your thing. So I admit I didn't hear all of it. My apologies on the feed on that. But perhaps we can now take this opportunity to move into a strategic infrastructure development and economic development that you'd like to do. I think you may have phrased it as, crime down, business up. Let's go over the business up aspect of your vision.
Now, getting crime down and businesses in.
You're going through some rather troubling times. I will admit, I did a chess lesson in Norfolk from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I will note that it was quite windy in that park in Portsmouth. I'm not in Portsmouth, actually in Norfolk. So I imagine as I look out the window now, some of the leaves brushing around it. It is also quite windy here as well. I wonder if that is messing with any of his feeds. But hopefully he does patch on here in the next couple of seconds. I'd like to hear him out for all of his full thoughts before going into his being swearing in. He's tapped in, but I don't see the feed yet. Can you hear me well? I admit that the audio is kind of patchy. I see your image on the screen. That's good. If you'd like to go ahead, give it a shot again with the topic of business infrastructure and growing that in Portsmouth. He has left. Well, what I want to do is this. I'm going to take the show off the air. Hopefully we can regroup, because what I would like to do for you, SchezzWho viewers, is definitely hear from Mr. Bill Dodson as he gets ready to get sworn into office in Portsmouth. I'll bring him back on at a time where we're better able to get some good feeds. I'll get you the information to that. Remember, SchezzWho, this channel requires your viewership, your participation to help grow. And that's all I ask. So subscribe to this channel, share videos like this. I'll bring you the next one, Mr. Bill Dodson, as soon as I can. Catch you guys soon.